Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Feed Me Friday. I came across another video. I forgot to make eggs yesterday. I just had this teeny tiny amount. Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, extra steak then. I came across this video the other day where a guy who is not a type 2 diabetic, he wears a CGM. He says that he's got family that has type 2 diabetes. This is not the same guy that I've talked about in the past. This is a new one that I came across. Anyway, he's got the CGM and he's like testing his blood sugar and he's like trying to help people understand like foods that they can eat and stuff, which I've said before. It's like, yes, absolutely. I think it's a great idea to wear a CGM. If you've got family that's got diabetes, you could be set up for getting diabetes later on. So wearing the CGM will help you hopefully avoid getting diabetes, right? However, what bothers me is that these people are telling diabetics what they can eat. And this guy in particular, he had 6 ways that you could continue to eat carbs if you are diabetic. And I'm like, all right, man, I have to watch this because I'm pretty sure I've heard all of these before. I think there was only one that I hadn't heard of. That was what was called the second meal effect. So it's like, if you are, let's say you're eating like I eat, it's like meat, dairy, that's it, right? So I have my lunch and it's meat and dairy, and I don't get any rise in my blood sugar at all. Okay, great. That's the goal, right? We don't want a blood sugar spike. But then let's say I have dinner and I have a sweet potato. I have meat, dairy, maybe, and then I have a sweet potato. And my blood sugar just shoots up. And he's like, well, of course it shoots up, because your first meal was too low in carbs. You need to have steady carbs throughout the day so that you're not getting these spikes. And I'm like, oh boy. Okay. So yeah, you're not getting those crazy spikes, when you have one meal that's really low carb, another meal that's high carb. What you are doing is you're keeping your blood sugar elevated throughout the day then. So instead of just having it go crazy once, which I don't think you should do that anyway, but yeah, so now instead you're just having it raised really high all throughout the day. I'm like, oh my word, this is such bad advice. He gave a lot of the standard information that I've heard. And when I say standard, this doesn't mean that it works. So it's like the idea of drink some vinegar before you eat and that will stop the rise. Well, Ann Reardon on her channel, How to Cook That. She's not diabetic, but she did test that theory. And what happened was, I thought it was very interesting. She had the same meal, right? And this is how you do an experiment. It's, you have a meal, you test before, you test after, maybe you test at the 1, 2, and 3 hour mark just to see how the numbers go. Preferably you do that a few times to see how, what the standard is. So then you have the same meal, and that's when you introduce the variable, right? So for her, she had the same exact meal and she had vinegar before she had it. And it was pretty funny because she was like, of course the vinegar tastes terrible. And she did notice that here's what happened. So without the intervention, her blood sugar did this quick spike and then gradually back down. She's not diabetic again, remember that. With the vinegar, it was like hesitant and then a spike and then back down. So all it did was delay the spike. So you would still get it no matter what. And the problem I had with this guy's channel was he was saying, it's like, this is all based on science. And it's like, okay, might be based on science, but it's not based on diabetics. So you're giving bad information and you could hurt people. That's the problem. You are going to hurt people because they're going to listen to your information, they are going to apply it, and they are going to get hurt by it. Now, that's the thing. Not everyone out there is testing their blood sugar. He's not even saying test your blood sugar. He's just telling you this is how it is. I don't like that. I want people to test their blood sugar. If someone tells you that this thing works, then test. I mean, yeah, in our diabetic group, that's what I'm always saying. It's like, I'm not against you trying something. If you want to try it, go ahead and try it. But you need to make sure you set up the conditions so that you know for sure that it worked. There's people who talk about food order. That was one of his things too, was food order. So you eat your protein and your veggies first, and then you have your carbs, and that slows it down. It's like, again, I don't think these tests were done on diabetics. We tried this with my mom. I would give her even keto treats. My word, I would let her have a keto. I would make keto treats, and then she could help herself to one. But the problem was, it's like even if she tucked that in with her meal, she would still get a spike. So I know it works for who is it? Dennis Pollock, who does Beat Diabetes. There are certain carbs that he can have, like berries, right? But he'll have them with his meal or like just right after, and his blood sugar numbers are fine. My mom is not one of those people, which is why I tell everyone to test. You cannot take someone else's results and say that's definitely what's going to happen to me. So, anyway, I'm going to go wash my hands. Coffee is a mix of, let me see. I did whoopie pie and coconut cream this morning. Got a tablespoon of butter, 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. I'll taste it later and see if it needs salt. So anyway, I feel like that's the constant battle, is trying to fight the bad information. People are always talking about like the glycemic index. Oh, these foods are low on the glycemic index, so they're fine for diabetics. It's like, well, are you diabetic? No, but I'm just going by the science. It's like, okay, well, just know that for the science of the glycemic index, they did that with people who were healthy, not people who had any kind of insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes. So, yeah, that is really not helpful. And then, of course, what makes it even worse, like I said, is people believe it and they apply it without testing for themselves. And yeah, it's scary to me, and it's very sad. One of our members was talking about an experience that she had with her doctor. Actually, it's happened my goodness, quite a few times in our group. Our members talk about experiences that they had with their doctor. And it's just so disheartening when the doctors aren't listening to you. You're giving them the information and they're not hearing what you said because they have tunnel vision. They've got a singular goal in mind. And I encourage everyone, I'm like, please write down your numbers. Write down what's going on so that when you get to the doctor, you can show them. And I mean, the hope is also that the doctors will be open to the information, right? That's the goal. That's the desire, but dang it doesn't always happen. Someone was surprised that this was all I ate. I'm like, yeah. If you've been following me, for a while, then you know that I do not need a lot of food. When I have more than I need, I can sometimes pay for it. So like we went out the other day and I got the shrimp Alfredo. It's like shrimp and crab Alfredo. It's about 100 grams. I only ate half of that bowl. I brought the rest home to my mom. And I was full the rest of the day. I did not have anything else to eat. So it wasn't just full. I was too full, over full. I was uncomfortable. So like when people are like, why don't you eat more? You know, you need more, you need more. It's like, why would I do that to myself? I don't like feeling uncomfortable. Anyway, so we've got the steak, we've got the butter, the cheesy scrambled eggs. I like to eat around 100 grams per meal plus coffee. So the coffee adds in extra fat, and that also helps keep me satisfied. It keeps me satisfied for at least actually, so it's like 6:30 now, right? I'll eat now. Usually around 10:30, I'll start to get inklings that I'm hungry. I try to hold off until at least 11 to eat, but sometimes I'm just too hungry at 10:30 and I'll eat then. Anyway, I'll catch you guys when I get my next cup of coffee. Hopefully I can remember to film. Second cup of coffee. This is a mix of whoopie pie and, s'mores and caramel pecan. Tablespoon of butter, 2 tablespoons heavy cream, and a couple dashes of salt. This one actually needed it. The one I had earlier did not. Just want to tell you guys about this fun find while we're out today. Anytime I'm looking for cheese, I can never find one that has animal rennet in it. They all have vegetable rennet, vegetarian rennet, whatever it is. So it's like the cheese is not 100% animal, or from an animal, it's got a plant. So I was pretty excited to find this. Not only is that, but it's also raw cheddar. It has a slightly different flavor from regular cheddar. My mom was saying get a bit of a Parmesan vibe, but the flavor is definitely different. I don't know. I can't think of how else to describe it. It's not as punchy as like the normal cheddar that you get at the store. I think that's a way. It's a bit nutty too. I got this one because I thought it also said animal rennet. It does not. It says microbial rennet. So, read the labels. Anyway, that's all. Lunch is going to be this shrimp rangoon that I just made. Recipe is coming. And coffee is a mix of caramel pecan, whatever, and coconut cream, tablespoon of butter, 2 tablespoons of heavy cream, and a few dashes of salt. I did so well and then forgot to film dinner. But in all fairness, I had company. So we were chatting away and I completely forgot. Dinner was 1 egg fried in a little bit of butter. And then I had some avocado and stracciatella on the side. And that was it for me for the day. Anyway, that is it. Thank you so much for watching and listening. This video is brought to you by my faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, who has everything you need and nothing you don't. Bye.